bogeys.
Check for bogeys. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to
On the bench, on the sofa, drinking tea, maybe taste testing something later, and just generally chatting about stuff.
Stuff and Things. Right, so what we're going to talk about today, Nick, don't go into each one. We want the bullet points first.
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is how cool are all of these?
Yes, we've got Badger Juniors.
Have you seen all these? These are amazing.
Yes.
We need to take some time. I've been trying to arrange these so you can see them a bit more prominently.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because they're just the cutest thing ever.
Yes, Badger Juniors Squishmallows. Please don't forget to check out the Squishmallow review that's recently been put on the channel. So there you go.
Right, so today we're going to talk about Twitter becoming X but still being known as Twitter because we're all creatures of habit.
That's right.
And we'll talk a bit about the SAG-AFTRA strike.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of misconceptions about that at the moment.
Of course.
We won't talk about the weather. And yeah, we'll probably taste test these things called mandolins at some point as well. Was there anything else we said we were going to talk about?
Loads of stuff. We'll work on it. Don't worry, we've got this. Right, okay, so today, guys, we're going to talk about the SAG-AFTRA strike. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right, so let's start with that. Let's go boom.
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 So yes, the SAG-AFTRA strike was called in at the middle of last month. It was SAG-AFTRA is the main unions in the US. So that affects all the productions in Hollywood and generally the US as a whole.
So for me and everyone at home that doesn't actually know what that stands for, do you know what that stands for, Nick?
It's the Society of Actors. Let me look this up because I can never remember it.
There we go.
But it's... So if we go to here, it's the... Right, Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists.
Okay.
The equivalent of it in the UK is Equity.
Okay, right.
So that's the equivalent union that we have over here. Now, Equity have spoken out in support of the strikes.
Yes.
They haven't called one themselves. I mean, that would be quite complicated. They have to research exactly what the issues are affecting UK actors and crew, and then they would have to ballot.
Yeah.
So because
it's more to do with America, isn't it? It's not obviously because of the world being very small now. We hear about it, but years and years ago, it wouldn't have really affected UK business. But I think it does in some ways now.
Now that a lot more kind of American films and stuff get exported around the world, not just to us.
No, so that is it. So
the main
different things will affect different areas.
Yeah, the main things that they're protesting against is things like is generally being paid more, the amount they get for residuals, because they used to get because it used to be significantly more when something was shown on TV.
That's
when it's shown on streaming services, the residuals they get are minimal, even for the big shows.
Yes, and there's been a lot of stuff in the newspapers and a lot of stuff on the internet about how Disney and Marvel aren't paying enough, and whether or not you like the program or not is another question. But obviously, a lot of the actors and people from She-Hulk were complaining that they feel that they didn't get enough money as well.
And there's also a lot of speculation about AI. You know, it's is it possible that that for both actors and for supporting artists, that their likeness could be used once. And it would then be used in perpetuity.
That's it.
Which means we have someone shouting in the background.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
And in perpetuity means that it is that you are paid for it once, and then they are free to use it basically for eternity.
Yes. So basically,
without paying you extra.
Yeah, which I don't think is very right, really, and that's my personal opinion. I think that obviously, because what would happen is you get the likes of myself or Nick being filmed drinking a coffee or something, or playing a game, or dancing in the background, and then you get paid for that once, and then they could use it in hundreds of films. And I don't think that's right.
It's used It's used a lot for stock footage, and it pops up in the world of voiceover a lot as well. You'll see something being used in perpetuity, which we as voiceover artists are advised to avoid. So it's kind of, so there's a lot of things about that at the moment, which is why a lot of them are currently on strike. Now, they probably wouldn't have felt the effects of it that much at the moment. You know, you had the success of Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie.
That's it.
But I mean, the promo for that had mostly been done. It was only like a week early that finished for both films.
Yeah.
So I mean, some might argue that if they'd been promoting it right up to the end, it might have taken even more at the box office.
But yeah, I think Barbie's made like $1 billion or something insane.
It's one of the high. It's probably the highest grossing film of the year so far.
I think so, definitely. If not, it's going to break records, isn't it?
I mean, Oppenheimer probably wasn't ever going to beat that, but Oppenheimer's been very close to it as well.
And I do think, rather funnily enough, Barbie and Oppenheimer have made money off the back of each other.
Yeah, Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer. Are they part of the same company, or is it opposite company?
I'm not sure.
But it'd be hilarious if they were part of the same company and they've sort of bounced off the back of each other. I think that's great.
I think it was more to do with just the fact that they were out on the same day and were both quite well anticipated. I'm going to go close the door.
Okay, no worries.
So the thing with the strikes, there's a whole lot of.
So it's just Badger Jr. playing a ball game with Vikings.
And the thing lots of people are saying, "Oh, it's millionaires striking."
Yeah.
Let me tell you now, unless you're an A-list actor, your take-home pay will not be anything like anything like someone in a regular job.
Yeah,
in many ways.
I have two examples of this. Number one, there's always, and Nick, you know a bit about wrestling, there's a big misconception, like once you leave WWE, TNA, AEW, for some reason a lot of fans get this misconception that every single wrestler gets a Legends contract, or even if they've left, they still get money from the company. That is not the case. They stop getting paid. Like recently, Rob Van Dam, there was a big internet debate. Oh, he's betrayed WWE. No, he hasn't. He wants to eat.
Exactly.
Because he obviously doesn't work for that organisation anymore. They stopped paying him, so then he needs to change jobs. And it's the same with, we talked about this many times in the past, pop stars that then go on to becoming and getting normal jobs because money runs out of the jobs.
The amount that, back in the day, the amount that artists were getting per CD or whatever, or record sold.
That's it. Was a lot more than now.
And even back then, it wasn't that much.
No, because it just really goes up and down. But yeah, so this is why artists and people that are quote unquote millionaires or have high powered jobs or have famous jobs, this is why they still need to strike, because eventually, if AI did take over, then there wouldn't be any work, would there?
Exactly.
And I know that I do the AI images on the show and stuff like that, but that hasn't had anything to do with acting, and it's all just my face, and I haven't borrowed anyone else's image or anything like that. It's just me doing that, isn't it?
Yeah. And, it's not unlike, the strikes that we've seen recently in the transport industry over, ticket offices and things like that. So, the reason... So, there's a lot behind what's going on. We're probably not going to feel the proper effects of it right now.
No. Usually it happens about 2-3 months afterwards, doesn't it? Yeah. Where if it carries on for a bit longer, the films will start drying up at the cinema and they'll start putting the classics on again. Things like that.
Right now, of course, the writers' strike was called earlier this year from the Writers Guild of America, WGA.
Right.
Of course, they are striking as well, and a lot of talk shows stopped showing as a result of that. I think
there's still things that are still going that are going to potentially stop as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of different things. So it's very interesting. Once you look into it, it's very interesting to see what you think. I am a union man. I have no problems in mentioning that. So but I'm going to leave that there because obviously I don't want to go too much in depth into my thoughts on this matter. But I would say that I am a union man and I respect what they're doing.
Absolutely, same here. And some productions that film over here have been affected, like the filming of Wicked. That's currently been postponed, and a couple of others. I think one's filming at Pinewood Studios has been delayed as well. So there's a little bit that felt here for those of us who work as supporting artists. But I think ultimately, you know, we stand with them. We need to make sure that that's that we sort that. Let's move on to the next topic, and someone that we definitely don't stand with, Elon Musk. Do you know, it was a month ago today that Threads launched.
No, Nick's not got too much bad, Musk.
So it was a month ago today that Threads launched. And
Threads?
Yes. And a lot of people started moving over to that. It got like a lot of original hype.
Did it?
And it did.
Did it?
It did. You're just not spending enough time on social media, which is probably something to be proud of. So of course, Mr. Musk, who purchased Twitter in October last year, and said comedy was legal again before banning a bunch of parody accounts of him. And so in his latest ego trip,
Musk.
He rebranded Twitter as X. And put a big construction of an X on top of the Twitter tower, which he then got told to take down.
Well, he put like a big X there. That's not a health and safety nightmare at all, is it?
No.
Would you kill thousands of people? Put a big X on a tall building.
It just kind of all feels like a big ego trip. And to be honest with you, I kind of find it a bit sad because previously, someone like me, as an autistic man, would have seen someone like Elon Musk as someone quite inspiring, someone to look up to.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, we never would have imagined like the richest man in the world would be a man with autism. But what I find is he just tends to reinforce a lot of the negative stereotypes about autistic people. You know, this perception that we can't feel empathy, you know, which he definitely can't. And, you know, it's like we're like limited capacity savants, you know, who stick rigidly and we can't relate to other people, feel empathy for other people. You know, it's just a lot of a lot of old stereotypes, which many of us, you know, try our hardest to break free of.
That's right.
You know, and I try and, you know, I mean, I've tried to, you know, get myself out there, achieve as much as I can in spite of being autistic, and I know that you're on the spectrum as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it just kind of feels like he's dragging us back when he really could have pulled us forward.
That's it. And that is a shame, really, when you think on it, because obviously there's a lot of good publicity towards autistic people and people on the spectrum and in the SEN community, as I like to call it now, neurodivergent.
Yes.
Now, there's a lot of people out there that are very, 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 very good representatives of these communities. And I think that's fantastic. But you've got to remember that, you know, what you say and how you perform and how you do things really does change people's attitudes. You know, there's some areas in America that still think like autism can be cured and there's weird camps and stuff like that. These things need to stop because it's not good for people's mental health.
Exactly.
And, you know, and I think that's, you know, it's very upsetting. But yeah, I do think he has a force for good, but he does tend to main on the negative because just some of the stuff he comes out with is very Trump-esque.
Yeah.
You know, so please be wary when you read what he says, you know. Obviously, there is some bits and pieces out there, some teeny whizzle nuggets that are good, but then for the most part, terrible.
Yeah.
You know. So please just bear that in mind. And also, you know, please ask if you need any help with anything. Me and Nick are always about, if you'd like to have a friendly ear and someone to talk to, I think it is good before you sort of go to reading what some famous person thinks. I think you always need to go a bit closer to home and realise, really. Yes. So, yeah, there's just one of these little nuggets where I think, he needs to be careful what he says, because he is a bit Trumpy at the minute, if you get what I mean. Yes.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Right, so yeah, honestly, I think it's been a very heavy topic, so it's been a bit over the top, but we managed to survive it. Right, let's try some chocolate.
Yes. So these are mandolins. So where did you get these from, Jeff?
These were from B&M, if I remember correctly.
Righto, not from Wilkinson's.
No, oh yes, we're going to talk about that.
Yes. So yeah, because Wilkinson's, or Wilko's as it's more commonly known, I think they're shutting a load of their stores.
Yes.
I haven't really heard much from them in years. I think B&M might be taking over from them.
Well,
one of my sisters.
The joke is Wilko's pretty much killed Woolworths. So it's one of these sort of like just desserts type things.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister used to work for Wilko's many years ago. And
okay.
Last time I was in there, I just found there was lots of empty space.
Yes.
That's what I found. It's like they were in, because they used to be in like an old, the Romford one used to be in an old Sainsbury's. I just think it was probably more space than they knew what to do with. So, mandolin.
Because when you're a big rock up, there's a big space, isn't there? And people online have been noticing that there is less and less items in Wilkinson's now.
Yeah. Right, so mandolin, not available in Wilko's, probably. Biscuit covered with caramel and chocolate with cocoa butter substitute. Got that Who song stuck in my head now. Substitute. Da, 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 da. Right. This is me kind of like trying to open a wrapper and keep it intact in one. It's okay, I got it. Right. Right. Looks a bit like a Twix. It's nice. It's a bit like a smaller Twix.
It is a bit like a small Twix. Slightly creamier, which is weird. And less dry. Feels like a moister biscuit.
Which is a good thing.
Which is definitely a good thing. Because I do often find that Twixes are like, you want to dunk them in your tea. But yeah, let's do a dunk test, Nick.
Doesn't add much.
Doesn't add much, right. Yeah, because it is quite creamy on its own, I thought. Nice caramel base. It was like the caramel was a bit thicker, which does suit me. In Twixes, I always think the caramel's a bit weak sauce, whereas that actually was a bit thick and it had substance to it. So yeah, I quite like those. They were really nice. Yeah, a pack of 6 was quite... I don't remember how much I paid for them, to be honest, but it wasn't that much. And they were quite good. Yeah, 35% caramel and chocolate flavoured layer, 35% plus the other bit. So 35% caramel is actually quite a good amount. You might think, but that's actually quite nice. And the biscuit was tasty. The chocolate was fairly nice. Out of 10, Nick?
7.
7. That's quite high. Yeah, I'd say about 6.5.
You give everything 6.5.
Yes, well, the Badger Show likes to copy IGN. Yeah, 6.5 is always good. Yeah. Mandolins, very nice. 6.5 out of 10. Quite tasty, indeed. Right, yeah, so let's carry on talking about Wilko's for a bit, Nick. Yeah.
Can we say much more? I mean, like you say they've been stocking less stuff than they used to.
They definitely sort of helped kill off Woolworths and B&M, of course, and the pound shop. So it's almost a bit like, what happens next? Because over 15,000 jobs are at stake. And you can imagine a lot of those people were the ones that used to work in Woolworths. So what happens next? Is there going to be another big chain to take it over? Is there going to be someone that rescues it, helps put the stock back in? People have been complaining that stuff that used to be cheap was more expensive now.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a strange one.
There's a few. I mean, B&M are quite prominent. Home Bargains are quite prominent.
That's it, yes,
one
those...
opened up near me recently.
That's it, yeah.
I say recently, it was a couple of years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what you mean.
And yeah, I think there's and yeah, I just think it's often a case that there's other places that have popped up. I think what happens is that more shops like that pop up, the market becomes saturated, and obviously some of them will fall by the wayside.
That's it.
We saw that with the rise in pound shops.
That's it.
You had Poundland, Pound World, and the 99p shop.
That's it. Yeah.
And Poundland, is the most prominent one.
That's it.
And
a lot of stuff to do with that is where it's like, even those, they sort of competed against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that, the first hypes were to do with the fact that there was a lot of old stock from fallen businesses like Woolworths, and other businesses that have fallen by the wayside, and they would buy the stock. So the reason why now that they've become less popular in my eyes is because a lot of the old stock that was really good quality has ran out, and then they've had to outsource it from other places, so it's not as good. Ergo, less people are buying it because it's not as good quality stock. I mean, obviously they still have all the old DVDs and stuff that were in Woolworths years ago. I don't know if last time you've been to a pound shop, but they do have a very good DVD section, and that's because
it's a CD section
and a CD section, and that's probably all the old Woolworths stock and all the old MVC stock and all the old Virgin Megastore stock.
I mean, that's going back a few years now.
It is, but it's probably true, because as long as it was in a wrapper, there's no sell-by date on those sort of goods. So, if they were just in a warehouse, probably the pound shops and stuff have bought all this old stock, Yeah.
I think so. So there's, but I think it's inevitable that, that when you've got kind of like lots of shops popping up and lots of people doing the same things, then the saturated market and things fall by the wayside, and it looks like Wilko could be taking one for the team with that. It's that people are going to lose their jobs and stuff.
That's it. Yes.
I just hope they can get more employment.
Yes. Also, while we were thinking about it, something popped into my head just now. And please, if we did mention anything at the start that we haven't talked about because we forgot about it, we can just remind us and we'll do it in another episode. But Cineworld obviously is now for the chop, isn't it?
Is it?
It is.
I heard about that.
Yeah, Cineworld has gone down. The stocks have gone down really low. I had penny stocks in it, so I had like £2 worth, and they're really, really low. They're in the red, and that's not good. And it's really bad. The fact that you think, right, well, this is, what's going to come and replace that? Is that partly to do with the death of cinema? Is it because that brand in itself has fallen by the wayside of modern cinemas? So, it could be to do with the death of cinema, or it could just be that particular brand isn't quite up to scratch anymore.
I think a lot of it is down to kind of like just some brands being more recognisable than others.
Yes, and obviously if you think, it depends on the area it's in and stuff like that, but Premier Cinema in Romford has now gone down to £3.50 per ticket, where £4 was dirt cheap, £3.50, so it's an extra 50p off, so you can get potentially, 3 tickets for just over £10. I think that's great, seeing as though back in the day you used to pay £10 for one ticket, so,
And that was even before you bought the popcorn.
That was even before you bought the popcorn, yeah. Though I did notice the other day, while I brought in my own stuff, there was now signs saying, please don't bring your own stuff, but I ignored it. I just brought in my own stuff.
They can't tell with the lights down.
They can't tell.
Dark jacket on. To be honest, though, we will say though, support your cinema. Do buy some stuff from it.
Yeah,
cinemas are a good thing.
Yeah, cinemas are a good thing, and we want to see them flourish. But what I will say is that yes, I do like to bring my own stuff in, but every now and again, or most times I should say, I do buy at least one item of sweets or anything from there. So it's like, I'll get a Tango, Tango Ice Blast. So I might not get all the popcorn and all that sort of stuff because I'll outsource that. But I will treat myself or Badger Junior to like an ice blast or something like that. So there is a happy medium. I think you can bring your own stuff in, but do support them as well.
Yeah, your ass is covered.
Thanks. But yeah, so there's that sort of stuff. So yeah, we've talked about the writer's strike, we talked about Twitter, we talked about Elon Musk, we talked about cinemas. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we go, Nick?
A film that I was in called Deliver Oops.
Oh,
It's going to be coming out on TikTok very soon.
Really?
Yes, because TikTok has been doing an initiative with with some universities in London producing short film content.
Oh, okay.
So yes, there's so I worked with from Met Film School
Right.
over in Ealing earlier in the year. So yeah, there's a film coming out called Deliver Oops. So yes, stay tuned to my socials as I'll be posting the links for those.
That's it, and I'm hoping that I'll be in an episode of Wayne and Wesley very soon. We've been waiting for that for nearly a year.
We have.
So I'm looking forward to that. And
if not, we're just going to have to get you some extra roles.
Yes, if not, we're just going to have to get me some more extra roles because I'm champing at the bit for you all to see my performance in this role. It's literally like, it's hopefully going to get me some more work as an extra. This is why I'm looking forward to it.
Right.
Because once that gets released and people see it, I think people will really like it. Because I personally thought I did really well in that performance. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. And it's nearly a year now. So Wayne and Wesley, if you're watching, please release the bloody episode because I want to see it and I want to promote the fact that I was in it and I want to get some work off the back of it. So come on, get on with it. For us stop raging. But yes.
Right. We've been here for nearly half an hour now.
Yes.
So yes, excuse me while I go and try and just show how cute these all are.
Yes, more Squishmallow reviews very soon, as that's been lots of fun. And, please guys, if you didn't see the Squishmallow review, please do check it out, because me and Viking did that, and it was very cute. And there's lots of stuff there. Nick's having a nice, relaxing time with all the lovely squishies. So, indeed. So at some point we will do a review, especially me and Nick, and he can sort of cuddle up to all the soft toys. Isn't it? So such a hard-edged man just sitting there cuddling toys. See, Squishmallows and other cuddly soft toys are for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a girl, a boy, or anything in between. If you enjoy squishy cuddles, it's always good for you because, they're fantastic for Sen and, of course, neurodivergent people. And, of course, if you've had a stressful day, they're very nice too. Is that right, Nick?
You bet it is.
You bet it is. Righty-ho, like I was saying, just a quick plug. Don't forget that the membership now is 99 pence. So if you'd like to join, it really does help the show. It will obviously help with new games, more content from the bench. It will help new films get released on the channel. It will help me be able to actually pay Nick some bus fare and some money for actually coming and helping me out, which is really nice.
Do they get a free topless photo of you when they sign up?
No.
Worth thinking about though.
No. But also, if you'd like to see me do some sort of random dare, donate in the comments and then we'll see and put the note what dare you would like me to put in there. As long as you don't want me to eat a scorpion or a litre of vodka or
a laundry pod.
A laundry pod or cement my head into a microwave, I'm sure I'll do it. And that's just some of the weird dares that we've covered over the years, isn't it?
Yes.
And I did eat Weetabix and baked beans once for a dare. If I can find that in the channel's catalogue, I will put it in the description. But yeah, is there any other videos you would like to see in the description or plug, Nick?
When I think of some, just go. When you finish this, just click down and just read the description. There'll be tons of stuff in there for you to check out.
That's it. Like Forest of Ash, Ballamora, and all these different things I'll put in there. And of course, if you haven't caught up with the AI transformations, please do check those out. If you haven't caught up with the Daily Dad Jokes, please check those out too. And thank you very much everyone for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this premiere. And we've been doing daily vlogs as well. Nick will be part of those. In a little bit, we're going to be filming some scenes for the sequel to the Doll spooky movie, which is going to be great. So that's there. I'm in the process of working on a sequel to Cringe Dating with me and Viking, and hopefully Nick's going to be able to do some bits for that too. And we've got a new Board Games Championship video coming out soon as well. So we've got lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff coming out very soon. Right. Thank you very much for watching. And also Viking has got an idea for an ultra short horror film as well. And I did do a horror film with Kraken Media. So I don't know when that's going to get released, but hopefully we'll be editing that and tidying that up soon too. So lots of content coming soon if you enjoy the films, and lots of talk show bits and pieces. Me and Viking will be doing a tea and talk at some point, all about our local adventures in the Isle of Sheppey. So that's going to be fun. And look after yourselves. Keep safe. Keep well. Much love, everyone. And I'll see you in the next vlog, video, stream or short. And say bye, Nick.
Bye.
Bye. And thanks for watching. Ah.